Today was a bad day to forget the hair gel, and worse than that, there'd been a pair of clay-faced hematoma bulldogs staring at me the entire time. I'd been gift-wrapped so the senator could dispose of me personally. Wasn't long before I made it known that I'd rather be somewhere else, but the bulldogs insisted. Well, if they expected me to walk willingly to my death, they'd have to shove me the entire way. For a moment, I considered that walking might actually be the play, but then I was quite a difficult child growing up. I was finally out of the hands of my cruel captors and into the warm, impartial embrace of a droid.
Terrorist.
You gonna let him call you that?
It began to feel like making it to the senator was no longer a certainty, but finally I was gently placed in front of the man himself. And while he monologued about my impending doom, I wondered if a facehugger might hatch out of the top of his head, but we wouldn't find out because I couldn't hold it in any longer.
I can't.
What?
My loyal companion picked my cuffs, and it was time for this Jedi to show his quality.
Burn for this. That's mine. Come and get me. We'll talk.
Well, I guess I was more of a Palpatine than a Yoda. There was plenty of time to hone my saber skills though as time went on, but for now, my Sith apprentice sent a surge of dark lightning through the senator's ship, and vengeance would be mine, until I realized I was about to get crushed. Always the optimist, I looked for the silver lining in every catastrophe. You might see a precarious beam of metal that could fall at any moment. I saw a perfectly good pull-up bar and wondered how many I could do without using the Force.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sometimes you have to die to get the answer, but the Force wasn't finished with me and I made my way to safety. But 2 stormtroopers saw the opportunity for some target practice. Lucky for me, they were completely useless as per the stereotype and I easily evaded them. Now I was completely lost. I had to find the senator's fancy boat and force pop his head like a melon. More Empire troopers were scouring the rooftops for me and I instructed them in the ways of the Force.
Identify yourself.
I was done with this stupid lightsaber, so I threw it away. But it came back. Perhaps it would be of some use after all. Running around, slamming doors shut to open other, more secretive ones, I got horribly lost, convincing myself that the path forwards lay with those very climbable iron girders. Or these totally traversable pipes.
No!
Thank goodness for the editing software, so you won't have to find out how long it took me to realize that this was actually not the way. But as I moved onwards and upwards, more troopers tried to stand between me and my destiny, which simply would not do. As fun as it was to swish things with a laser sword, true mastery of the Force would be my salvation, and when my next enemy tried to use his primitive weapon, I brought out a Jedi mind trick. Apparently I forgot that trick. The senator's yacht was so close, yet so far. If only I had a jetpack, this mission would be over and plenty of stormtroopers' lives would be saved. But for now, Cal Orangutan Kestis would spider monkey the rest of the way. To truly inspire fear, only a 360 deflect would do. Wait for it. Any minute now. You didn't see anything. After several expert maneuvers, I found myself gaining on the yacht, only for an unfortunate incident to transpire.
Got you, traitor.
As worried as Cal looked, I knew they'd never kill off the main character this early into the game. Something would happen and we'd be fine. Okay, that's not what happened. I died in much dumber ways than that, but for now...
I've been over this for a long time now, and I finally...
What took you so long?
The bromance was just beginning. Now this guy would remind me of how great he was at every moment while pinching my cheek and calling me kid. Apparently we were in a hurry, and while my buddy Bode was equipped with a jetpack that could fly us both to the yacht, he wanted to watch me suffer as I was forced to make my own way across. But I'd watched Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Hagrids before, so crossing the street was nothing to me.
How about new?
It was almost as if the traffic were swerving out of the way deliberately, those inconsiderate fools! Fortunately, BD1 had the answer I'd been looking for all along. Now I could land on those cars with ease.
Wait!
Okay, it was time for plan B, some wall running and loop around to the yacht, which was definitely something I could do.
Who taught you to move like that?
Bode was starting to annoy me, and I considered force choking him and stealing his stupid jetpack. More so when we got to a slippery water slide that not only could I not negotiate, but Bode simply flew up and stared at me. No words of encouragement, just a pompous pose until I finally figured out a way up.
Impressive.
Who needs a jetpack?
I did. I desperately needed one. I had to get Bode to help me every step of the way, and it was humiliating. It wasn't long before I'd seek redemption. Sure, he had a fancy jetpack, but fighting was my purview, my domain, my home. And okay, this would be my first time using a double-bladed lightsaber, but how hard could it be? You think I'm gonna fall, don't you? Wrong! It was like being smacked in the face with a giant electric toothbrush, and as the lights dimmed, Bode saved my life, and I hated him for it. Then he committed the biggest sin that you never do to another bro. He stole my kill.
Nicely done.
So I set a trap for him and raised the drawbridge so they could wipe that smirk off his stupid face. But when it looked like he might win, I pleaded innocence and helped out. While Bode thought that we were synergizing, I was plotting another way to take him out, and Mr. Perfect continued his annoying goody two-shoes by single-handedly moving a huge sign that apparently my pathetic Jedi skills couldn't shift with the Force. I sent BD1 to look for plans for a mini Death Star to deal with Bode in case I couldn't snuff the life out of him during this mission. Then I let him talk me into walking the proverbial plank. This precarious pipe did not look remotely safe, but Bode insisted it was the only way across. You know, apart from him giving me a ride on his jetpack.
I think my legs might be broken.
The single-bladed style was the way forward as I was completely unstoppable.
Sorry. When you play with me, the game is rigged from the start.
Every time Bode flapped his lips, I felt my anger rising. Then as I made my way to snag a rare treasure, Bode did the one thing you should never do when using a jetpack. He became a peeping Tom. By the way, ever wondered how much fuel is in those things? You know what, Bode or no Bode, I decided to find the yacht by myself, but the peep show finally ended, and it was just as well, because in trying to find the yacht, trouble found us, and for once, I was prepared. Even I had to admit, that was quite impressive. We were almost there now, and do you know how I figured that? Because when we squeezed through a tiny gap in the walls, the same droid who brought me to the Senator, I chose to rely on perfect dodges, that way there would be no need to heal me. Besides, there were two of us and one overgrown vacuum cleaner.
Cal, can you hear me?
Yes, Bode, I heard you. Hearing your stupid voice as I faded to black echoed to the eternal void. But this was a matter of pride now. There would be no healing because my fuel for this battle would be the raging, unchecked fury of Cal Kestis, the Grey Wizard. So that's this roid rage thing I've been hearing about. For the record, picking up my lost XP doesn't count as consuming a stim pack, alright? Bode's stun grenade gave me the opening I badly needed. The Senator's personal trash collector was no match for us, and the lightsaber was finally able to cut through the Iron Giant's armor because the mini cutscene said so. Among the wreckage, I found a dirty fish hook that was quickly repaired into the very thing that would give me a direct line to the Senator's yacht, and the entire team were soon reunited, with me just only realizing that the vicious bulldog twins were actually my companions all along. And once they lowered a bridge for me using brute force, I realized that my previous 10,000 shovings were playful puppy paws in comparison. But that didn't make it okay. The yacht had gotten stuck amongst flaming pipes that were difficult to get to. So whom do you send for such a tricky job? How about the man with the jetpack? No, he's far too busy watching, so it was left to the Sith Spider Monkey. I suppose you could argue that he wasn't strong enough to pull that off, and to that I'd say... Then, as the yacht was safely tethered, some character dialogue revealed something important about our brazen protagonist.
All clear, Cal. long way to drop. Be careful.
I'm always careful.
And that is that he was being puppeteered by a moron from another dimension. It was time to extract the senator, but first I decided that the twins would need to experience me shoving them back with my lightsaber. The senator gave us access to his private computer with a chart that looked as if the AI had a nosebleed then sneezed all over it, so I had a better idea. I mind-controlled the senator into agreeing to sit on my lightsaber. But before we could get on with it, Gabs pulled me aside and told me it would be inhumane. But it wasn't long before the lightsaber sitting event was back on the table.
I've changed my mind. We should always target the Empire.
Just as we prepared to call in the townsfolk, a filthy inquisitor spoiled all the fun. That expression right there was because, while I did not know what voice to expect from such a behemoth, it wasn't that. Either way, spoil the fun, prepare to die. But revenge was put on pause thanks to those pesky kids street racing without a license, and I was sent careering to my doom. Then I was about to discover the impact absorption of alien poop as my 200-foot fall felt like a bed of feathers. But the taste, that was another matter. It looked like another mission to crawl out of the sewers to face my foe in the gutter. Story of my life, but there was an easy shortcut to my prey. I'd simply follow the production line of the packed meat and ride my way to the Sith Inquisitor. I made my way through the freezers to uncover the mystery of the ethereal meat. How did I fall through them, and why did my saber cut them all at the same angle regardless of thrust or swing? In my bewildered state of confusion, I accidentally unlocked the skill to confuse others by projecting my low IQ towards them. Unfortunately, my new ally had the reflexes of a constipated turtle, but so long as there was a green glow, I had a new friend, which lasted about as long as all my real friendships.
Attack him quickly!
There was one large room between myself and this Sith boss, which of course was full of enemies that were guarding the mystical meat. Pretty sure that this would not be considered the path of the Jedi, but it was definitely the path of fun. After hosting a few Mortal Kombat tournaments, I made my way to the door and decided that I'd take a friend with me.
Right by my side.
I will massacre you!
Why did he betray me, and why was he so accurate with that blaster? Finally, I was ready to take on the Sith. I made my way to the party pooper, who robbed us of seeing if we could hatch the facehugger from that senator's egghead after perching him on a lightsaber. The fight was brutal. It became clear that I was outmatched and parrying for my life was all that I had. Then it happened. My life force was ebbing away and I begrudgingly healed, only for the ninth sister to unveil some mind control of her own. She was listening to my thoughts, and while I kept her at bay by screaming la 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 la, eventually I let it slip that I was really scared of getting stabbed. I returned, only for my lightsaber to split in two, and as the ninth sister read my thoughts, all she got from me was that I was going to hold triangle, and not even I knew what that would do. Victory was ours, and a new adventure awaited me on another world, so all that was left now was to fight my way to my ship and kill more stormtroopers than Bode on the way out. Activating slow motion was cool and all, but have you ever seen a jumping flailing attack? It's kind of my speciality. You see, falling to your doom gives you skill points. Sorry, I don't make the rules, but that's how I became a Grandmaster Vulcan. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me return to the Mines of Moria. Goodbye. Oh boy.